Hi everybody, welcome to the last week of your Change Leadership class. This is Module 7. We have 8 modules, or we have 8 weeks worth of material. So you get Module 7 and your final paper due this week. So everything needs to be submitted by next Sunday night at midnight. So I have Monday to grade, and then I have to submit the grade on Tuesday. So hopefully everybody fares okay. If you're in the Charleston area or this area of South Carolina, you've got some big rain coming. The rest of you hopefully won't have any impacts and will be able to get your work done just fine. So this is our second week of looking at some specific org development interventions. And so I'm going to ask you to use those. So you might just pick one or pick two and apply your learning and apply something to one of the case studies that we've already done. So if you had a favorite case study and you were looking for other ways to make recommendations for an effective change, this is your opportunity. Okay, so this week your discussion, no responses required since you're also doing your final paper. But here, I would like to have you pick one, assign chapters for this week or another you considered you did not use in class, took you as interesting, and you're interested. So opportunity for you to just kind of browse through the body of knowledge about organization development that you have in your big, thick book, and choose one, summarize your takeaways from it, and then identify how you might use that approach. Okay, so you post on the discussion board so everybody can see them, but you don't have to make any responses this week. And then your written assignment is the same kind of approach. To choose 2 intervention strategies from this week's reading and explain how they might be used by a change agent in one of the cases. So if you're interested in the hospital case or the football case or, whatever one you might want to look at. So that's some case study that we've used throughout the 7 weeks or 6 weeks so far, and apply a strategy, 2 of the strategies. So you can pick 2 cases or you can do 1 case study and apply 2 strategies. So again, I'm looking for to be able to assess your understanding and ability to apply the concepts and ideas about change that we're talking about. Okay, and then I already posted 1 video on the final change analysis, but this is also due by next Sunday. So a quick review, identify a change initiative that you're familiar with. So it can be current, past, future. To tell me about it. Tell me about the organization and the change. Explain the impact and the scope, right? So how big? Is it a department? Is it a small change? Are we changing a major system? Whatever kind of background. Okay, so what are the desired outcomes in the context and the environment? So if you think back to the simulation, right? So in some of the scenarios, you were in a situation where a competitor was making the change first and you were responding. Some you were looking at being proactive. So that's the kind of context of the environment that you might want to include. What's been done so far. So tell me if it's current, past, future. And then gather some data on the change implementation. So you might look at emails or any correspondence that you've received. Has your organization published anything to their customers or their stockholders if you have them? So what kind of information has been shared? What has been communicated? So hopefully that sounds familiar to you as one of the steps from Kotter, right, is communicate the change. Then create a change plan. Okay, so and you can go back and say, okay, they didn't do this very well. Here's what they should have done. Or we haven't been all the way through the stages, so here's what we should do from this point on. So again, reinforcing the use of Kotter's H-stage process. How should each stage be implemented, or has been implemented, or should have been implemented, and then incorporate other concepts from the class in terms of developing your plan. So anything that you used in the 2 assignments for Module 7, you could also use here, but which approach? And so that's the idea. One of the ideas in my mind, is there are a variety of different tools, right? So we've looked at organizational frame bending at the very beginning and the congruence model, so that might be applicable or helpful in a situation. We've got the 4 frames, Bowman and Deal, that we talked about, or you read about, or you will read about for this week. There might be environments where that's helpful in terms of creating change. So choose those concepts that might be helpful for this specific change that you are describing, and then report on the results, if any, from the actual change. So you can use a failed change or a successful change, or you can use one in progress, you can use one you are doing, your organization's doing. So tell me what happened. Report on the outcomes. If no results are available, but still in progress, or it's a future change, predict what should happen if your change plan is followed. Okay, and so there is a different rubric for the final change analysis paper, which you'll find here. So let me know if you have any questions. Try to stay safe. No, do stay safe. Try to stay dry. And let me know if anything comes up.